The way you're handling your finances are ruining your marriage. Now, bear with me because over the last week or two, I've talked to 3 different men who have allowed the way they're handling their finances to systematically close their wife down and cause a lot of issues in their marriage. So I'm going to talk about these 3 different scenarios to help paint a picture on what you can do to not let this be the case in yours. So, am I throwing a bonus one that just popped into my mind? We'll see. All right. Now, the first thing you need to understand is for women, one of the core needs that they have is safety. They have to feel safe. Like they will not open up to you if they feel like they have to protect themselves. The whole reason why she's putting a wall up between you and her is because she doesn't feel safe around you. Chances are it's more emotionally safe than physically safe. Hopefully it's not physically an issue, but chances are it's an emotional safety. But nonetheless, there's a safety concern. It's one of the core drivers of their behavior. It's when you look at shopping behaviors of men versus women, you can see this come to play a lot too. Now, because of that, if you want to experience the fullness of your wife, she has to be feel provided and protected. Like for her to fully open up, she has to feel provided and protected, also connected and safe and a whole bunch of other things. But for the sake of this video, we're talking about being provided for and protected. Now, many men create the situation in their financial world where it creates the exact opposite effect. She feels responsible. She feels like it's a burden. She's taking leading in this. And it's just a whole bunch of things, which logically makes sense why we do it. But when you look at the result and the experience on her side, just doesn't make sense. And it just doesn't give us the result that we're looking for, which is a wife who is open to us, who is excited around us, who admires us, who celebrates us, who just dotes on us and loves us. If you're looking for that, this is one of the prerequisites. She has to feel provided for and protected. Now, I'll talk about these 3 clients. The first one, he was in a situation where he was a salesman and his paychecks were all over the place. He knew he had thousands of dollars coming in from commission, but he just didn't know when but based on his industry, he had to wait till a certain date and it was out of his control, et cetera, et cetera. And this caused a lot of stress for his wife because she just was looking at the bank account as there's maybe money coming, but I don't see it now. So if it's not here now, it doesn't exist. And she'd get stressed out. And then she'd complain and blame him for not taking care of the family and all these things, which is coming from a place of her feeling unsafe, her feeling like there's not enough money to feed them, their child, take care of the house, the bills. And it's just what's happening. It's an emotional reaction. Logically, obviously, she's smart enough to understand that, but emotionally, she can't get past it. So in his situation, what we have to do is make sure that there's a certain threshold in the bank account and find out what her threshold is, where as long as she sees that amount in the account, she's okay. She doesn't care how much is coming and whatnot. As long as the account has this much, her nervous system can relax, right? That was what they needed to do and figure out what their threshold takes communication to figure out. And then he needs to take lead to make sure the account can build up to that much, which they have to work towards. But knowing that it's moving in that direction and she understands there's a plan allows her to relax and that situation dissipates from that point. Number 2, client was in the military and his issue was he went over there, thought he was going to be really busy, and they worked out an agreement where she would handle the bills. He would put all the money into the account, she would pay all the bills. And it turned out he wasn't very busy. Once he got over there, he got a different station and just figured, well, it just makes sense. She's willing to do it. Sorry over there. Just let her keep doing it. And what ended up happening is she ended up resenting him for that pressure because for a man, it's almost like we feel empowered being able to pay bills and be able to make sure things are done and got this, I'm providing for and whatnot. It can be a source of encouragement, enthusiasm, pride for us. for women, it just feels like responsibility. It feels weight. It's like if there's a mistake here, it can harm everything. And if there's not enough money, or if there is, now I have to make sure there's enough money to make sure all these things are taken account for, because they have this diffuse awareness where they're able to take in so many things into account, whereas men were very singular. Like a light bill not getting paid on time is just a light bill not getting paid on time. It's okay. They're not going to shut things off. We will fix it. For her, is light bill not getting paid on, this isn't happening, and then we're not going to have heat or whatever. Like it just goes into all this type of thing. And it's funny, but at the same time, it's their reality. And we have to acknowledge that. We need to take care of that, which means we need to take leadership. And if we're in a situation where we can pay the bills and we can do that, we need to. Or we need to find somebody else who can do. We need to take lead in some way, shape, or form. Or maybe it only happens when you guys sit there and do it together. She's not left to do it on her own. And the client has to figure that out. Right? This was just happened the other day, so we're still working on exactly what he's going to do, what she requires. But that's what has to happen there. Now, the third situation was he was a successful entrepreneur, and he just took care of everything. He took care of all the bills, he made all the money. She was a stay-at-home wife, blah, blah, which you would think would count. That'd be leadership. Except it was a black box. And she had no idea what the financial situation is. And one other thing, so we talked about safety, but uncertainty, which essentially comes back to safety. They're uncertain. When they're in place of uncertainty, that creates anxiousness, that creates fear, because they don't know. Is it good? Is it bad? Could the rug be pulled up under? Is everything they're staying on going to collapse? Like they don't know. So what he had to do was agree once a month to have a financial review with his wife, so she could see this is where we are, this is what's happening, etc. And her nervous system could relax. She can feel like he's taking care of her. And that's what this is about, is creating the feeling that she's being taken care of, that she's safe, being provided for. And I know there's a lot of people out there saying this whole 50-50, blah, blah, but all 50-50 does is create this in a relationship. If you want polarity, where there's like sexual charge and surrender and like following, and most men I talk to want to feel like the king and feel like celebrated, uplifted, like you gotta show up, you gotta provide. It's what kings do. They provide, they protect, they make sure everything's taken care of. So if that's what you want, this is what it looks like. If you don't want it, then ignore this whole video. I'm not even sure why you're watching this, but if you do want it, this is what it looks like. All right, so that's all I have for you today. If you have any questions, comment below, email me, whatever you need. We're here to support you. All right, with love. Oh, real quick. All right, so the fourth situation, the fourth client, this one's pretty straightforward. He just wasn't making enough money. He had done a career change. He was in this limbo, and just not making enough was causing so much stress for his wife. Like she had financial triggers and trauma from the past, and he just wasn't making enough. And if that's your situation, go make more money, right? Go learn the skills that you need to increase your income. Go commit to becoming a man who gets paid more for what you contribute to this world, right? Go develop some skills, go learn, go take some programs, go apply for jobs. Whatever you have to do, go become a better provider. So that was the last one. Didn't want to leave you hanging. All right. Peace out.